Behold! Woo! Alright. So, why was there a crazy, weird screen? Why are we looking at friendly local gaming, or frontline gaming? Mats? Why anything? Well, I... One second. Brink. I am hitting all the wrong buttons, that's why. Alright. Well, as evidenced by the fact that my desk has basically nothing on it but Legion, I've still continued to be on my Legion kick. Painted up a bunch of shore troopers last night. Their bases still need some love, but coming along. You know? Coming along. The obligatory kneeling guy, because there's always a kneeling guy. Also occurred to me my nails are covered in fucking stuff from painting last night. Good job, Josh. Good job. Well, I'm painting up a whole bunch of these snow troopers, or shore troopers, right? And I want a table. I wanted to do a Star Wars Legion for table for a while, but I think I want to actually pull the trigger and do it, right? My husband's been away, so I've been on this Star Wars Legion kick. And, you know, painted things like an ATST and Rancor and all kinds of stuff. So I've been sort of exploring the options for what I can do for a table. I have a bunch of STLs from Imperial Terrain, because I tried to do this before. And they print pretty decent in resin, actually. I could probably print them in FDM, but honestly, printing terrain in FDM is such a fucking massive hassle that I just don't want to do it. So I could probably print up a bunch of these nice little buildings. They print pretty good, you know. There's some errors in there, but you know, like that just needs a little bit of sanding, and that'll be fine. But you know, it's pretty good. Pretty good. They print pretty cheap. It's like $5 a building, pretty much, right? I've got a whole bunch of buildings. Can't really do stuff inside them for Legion, you know. Not really, like, game just isn't very conducive for that, so what I decided instead is that I'm going to make more of like a outdoors kind of table, right? Oh, speaking of shore troopers, before I switch back to the computer, Darkfire Designs has a ton of awesome shore troopers. You just print their helmets slightly bigger, and they perfectly match the Legion guys. So, you know, I want to do something, right? Like, I want to do some kind of table. I don't want to do a lot of buildings, you know, and stuff like that. I want to do something else that kind of has a Star Wars feel to it. So I was kicking around for a while if I want to do Mustafar, which is like the fire, lava, death planet. Hello! If I want to do Mustafar, or if I want to do Scarif. Because those are probably like the two coolest planets I could think of. Like Felucia's a really neat one, right? It's the like plant, like kind of like crazy bright colored jungle planet. It's really neat. But I was really on the fence between Scarif and Mustafar, right? So we're gonna pop over. Bonk. Yeah. We're gonna pop over. We're gonna look at this. So this is Frontline Gaming mats. These are what I have for all my mats. One of the reasons I was sort of thinking between Mustafar and Scarif is the fact that I have mats for both of those. I have like a lava field mat, and I have what I think they call Coral Reef. So they should pop up here. Yeah, this one right here. It's the one I have. I have that one, and I have one of their lava mats. I think maybe it's this one? Planet 37? Maybe it's that one? No, that's wrong. I have one of their lava mats. Don't remember 100% which one it is. No, there it is. Yeah, that's the one I have. Right, so like I have mats for both those setups, right? So I thought choosing one of them would be a good idea because of that. You know what I mean? So this is the Coral Reef mat. I absolutely love this mat. I bought it to be the like sump layer of a hive city. So like, you know, you go down deep enough and then it's like, you know, you're like in the sump and it's like liquid and there's walkways and stuff, right? But it is an awesome, cool mat. And it would make a phenomenal mat for Scarif, right? Because I don't want to build an actual table. One, I like the mats, right? I like how the models sit on them. I like how the dice bounces on them. And I like how train sits on them because they're flat, right? So there's nothing weird there. So I want to do a mat and not like a board, right? So we're gonna do Coral Reef mat, which I already got, and do a Scarif table. Now Scarif, as far as I know, only shows up in Rogue One. And it's the place where the final battle takes place. So it's kind of like a tropical, white sands, beautiful, kind of looks like Hawaii planet. There's the landing pad and stuff. Got a piece of concept art there. It might have been in Star Wars Battlefront 2, but I don't remember. I'm going to assume that it is from these pictures. Yeah, it's got to be in Star Wars Battlefront 2 as well. But Scarif is very cool, right? Like, it's a very serene looking planet, which makes really neat juxtaposition for, like, a war, right? Like, it's not all torn apart and stuff. It's, like, this just beautiful Hawaii research center, you know? And just super cool. So, what I was thinking was to use, so this is, we'll get to that in a minute. To use this mat, so I have a 30 by 40. I have this one right here. All right. We're going to go ahead and we're going to save that image. What the fuck is a WebWP? You what, mate? Okay, screw it. We're not going to do that. I was going to save it and then put it in the background because we're about to draw and get really ugly. Let's inspect this. What are you? What are you? Let's see what you are. In a new tab. Save image as. Yeah, what is a WebWP? WebP file. I've actually never seen one of those. Interesting. Okay, well, we're not going to mess with that then. I was going to put it in the background, but oh well. So we're going to kind of plan around this idea here, right? Like this as the base, right, where you see the water, like here, and then that Minecraft one is a surprisingly good example of what I'm going to do. And then a bunch of islands that are like going to go on top of it, that I can move and shift and stuff like that, right? So we're going to have the mat sort of be like the water there, and then we're going to make some islands to go on top of it to make it look like Scarif. So they'll be like running through the shallow water and then running on the islands and all kinds of stuff like that. Now, this is South Stone Cove. This is another reason I want to do Scarif. This is a zone from Guild Wars. It's a really pretty zone. It was actually the first zone they ever added as like a piece of like essentially DLC. It's very cool. There's a bunch of killer crabs and stuff. It was just another source of reason why I chose to do Scarif over. I was hoping that one would be bigger. Why I chose to do Scarif over like oh, there it is. Yeah, why I chose to do Scarif over like Mustafar, for example. All right, so all right, we're good. Cool. Yeah, I'm checking. Just double checking chat and make sure didn't miss anything because I can't see chat when I'm tabbed out to show the computer. There's probably a better way to do that, but I don't have it set up to do it. So yeah, so South Sun Code's just another reason of stuff. All right, so we're gonna pop over to Darkfire Designs. These guys. They make a bunch of STLs. They're the ones that made all those Shore Troopers I showed off a little bit ago. But they, this month, are releasing... Where is it? Okay, where is it? It's on the main website and not the Gumroad one. They apparently released an ATST that looks really nice. They are releasing... Do they really not have a picture of it? God, these guys are terrible at social media. Okay. Where's the bundles? How do they not have a fucking picture of it? Alright, hold on. I got it. This is gonna drive me bonkers. How do they not have a photo of this month's release? Like, as their, like, number one thing. Oh, you... There it is. Oh, and you have to... One second. Alright, give me 1 second. God, terrible. Terrible pimping their own stuff. Alright, give me a second. This is not cooperating. I am very disappointed in these people's private social media. I apologize. This is really obnoxious. This should just be on their fucking website, and it's really not. And that's like I can't even sum up how dumb that is. October release. Show me the November release. Okay, finally. Jesus Christ. That took fucking forever. God. Alright, that's really annoying. Ay. You think this photo would just be up on all their media, considering it's like their thing for the month. But no, it's like locked behind like all these logins and shit. Really fucking obnoxious. But we got there in the end. We got there. So, they put out this set of terrain. Which is super, super cool. It's basically an Imperial base. With like trench walls and these little walk platforms and these big gun turrets. There's like gun turrets there. All kinds of cool stuff, right? So it's like a whole little base setup. Just like super awesome, right? So I have a bunch of the like barrels. You can see all like the barrels and boxes and stuff like in the middle there. I have a bunch of those printing right now along with one of the gun turrets. And it's pretty big. It's a big fucking gun turret. So I'm going to start printing off more stuff for this because I think it's pretty rad. I think it's a really cool set of terrain, and I think it'll work really good for Scarif. So, what I'm planning on doing is making a bunch of those little islands, and making, you know, little like bases and stuff to go on top of them. So I'm gonna just do some doodling because I think it'll give me an idea, right? So let's pick a color, blue. Give me this guy. Bonk. All right, there's our water, right? There's our water. There's our water, and then we got let's grab like a sandy color. Alright, I'm going to do some islands. So if this is our table, my plan is to make some like sandbars and then put stuff on them. Now, I want to kind of have them be like irregular sizes and irregular shapes. So for example, like if I do, wow, that's not how at all I expected that to work. If I do something like this, right? Like I want it to be kind of a weird shape, like that. And that would give me space to say like, put some trees like here, right? There'd be some trees there. I could put some of those walkways here, right? Maybe some like boxes and barrels or something. Maybe some like boxes and barrels and some more trees, right? So I want to make these kind of like bits of terrain. Kind of like sandbars with pieces of base on them, right? But not like a massive, like takes up the entire table, like giant chunk of like sand base, you know? So in some of the pictures you can see, thank you. You can see these like outcrops, like here. Do you see this one right there where it's like trees and like some plants and then there's like sand all around it? That's kind of what my plan is for these, and what I want to like make for them. Now, if I make a couple that are like walkways, right, like this, where like this is like those walkways pieces from the base terrain. I want to make some that have those like walls too, right? So like maybe we'll make one that's like this, and then maybe this section here is actually wall, right? And here's like the little steps where the guys can stand up to the wall, and that's kind of cool. These wall sections, these print. See how there's like an up and down pattern? They print in the up and down pattern. So basically you're printing like cheese wedges. So if you want a complete like wall, you have to print 3 of them out. Which I don't think is necessarily bad, but it does mean that every time I want to do one of these walls, it is going to be like a certain length, right? It's going to be a certain length. I don't think that length is particularly massive, but it is something just to think about, right? It is just something to think about. So I want to do some pieces like that, where like they have the walls and then they have like the sand on the sides and stuff as well, and then some of these that are like walkthroughs. Now, last but not least, as far as like ideas for it go, I have been busy printing. I have a band. So I have a whole band. Got a whole bunch of guys playing flutes and stuff. And then, where are they at? I got some sexy ladies to go with the band. Sadly, there are no sexy dudes, but you take what you can for the sexy, right? Come on, please. Focus on the sexy. No. Here. Focus. Thank you. Right, so I've got all these sexy, like, Twilight ladies here. I got a whole bag of them. And all kinds of, like, crazy, sexy Twilight lady poses. Some of them are on poles. Some of them are just dancing. So they're pretty rad. So what I want to do is I kind of want to make like a little resort section. So it'll be, if we jump back to the really ugly paint again, I want to make like a section like this, and then there will be like a section for like the band, right? And they'll be standing there, and then maybe there's some like tables, and on some of the tables we'll put the sexy ladies like dancing on the tables, right? Like something silly, right? To go with like the Imperial base. I want to make like a little bar area because I just think that'll be really funny. And there's bits and bobs to do it. I gotta still print out a piano guy. I gotta find a piano guy, but yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I think that's a fun idea. Have all these little tables and stuff. And actually, our friends at Darkfire, they actually do a set with little tables. Let's see if it's on their website, unlike everything else. Yeah, here it is. They do a set with little tables, right? So tables, chairs. There's some like beers and stuff you can put on them. I thought that would be kind of cool, right? So we'll make like a little lounge area. They also do a droid who has like drinks on the top of his head, which I thought was kind of cute. Stuff like that. So, I thought that would be kind of fun too, right? So we'll have a mix of these like wall sections, right, that are like barricades, and then like these sections that are like cross throughs where they have the planking and then trees and stuff. And then I want to make this little bar because I think it'll just be cute and funny, I just think that's a pretty cool idea. So that's kind of my plan for the table, right? My goal for it is to be done by Christmas with it. That's my goal for it. Now the table itself, there we go. Sort of me and my girlfriend's first models. 2 kits of Phase 2 clones. It's going to be sick. Nice! The Phase 2 clones are really nice models. They're really, really fun. Yeah, they have a bunch of cool options and stuff, and like the fun thing about the clones is you can paint them, like paint them all white, and then you can like paint markings and stuff on them. It's really fun. So all my clone units, I painted them with like different kinds of markings to differentiate who's in what unit, right? So like I have like a teal unit and like a blue unit and a red unit, and it's like, oh, the teal unit, well they have teal shins and teal shoulder pads and like a stripe or something, right? It's really fun. It's a cool way to differentiate the different units for Space Marines. Alright, so shitty drawing and paint aside, let me get some drinkage. So my goal for this table is to be done by Christmas. That Matt is going to do most of our heavy lifting for the blue, right? Now, the other parts... The other parts are going to be done like this. This is XPS foam, which, by the way, is fucking obnoxious to get in Hawaii because tropical island and all that. And on the bottom of it, this is what they call like hardboard, or there's other names for it. I'm trying to remember what they are. I got it off Amazon just by searching hardboard. It's essentially like composite. It's like denser cardboard, essentially. It's really good. So these pieces specifically, I was going to try to do a tile system, but it demonstrates a good idea of how I'm going to do this, right? I really didn't like the tile system after I drew the tiles in it. I was like, I don't like this. So I have all these pieces here. So I'll probably end up cutting these up and using them just so they have some kind of use. But I have a bunch of this XPS as well. So this stuff's all been textured with tin foil ball. But I'm going to go through. I'm going to hit it with some texture paste as well. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do that with grout yet, because you can do white glue and then put grout on top of it, and it will give you texture. Or if I'll just spend the like $10 and buy myself another one of these, because this stuff's really nice. And they're like $12, and you get like a metric fuck ton in here. And honestly, like, I don't mind spending the $10 to just have the nicer material. You know what I mean? So I might just do that instead and just cover the whole thing. Once that's done, I'll probably... okay, let me back up. Going to cut foam. Put hardboard on the bottom. You can do that with white glue because this is a porous material. This is not, but this is, so the glue in the middle will dry. Because when you put two non-porous materials against each other, so like foam and foam, the glue in the middle will never dry. Because the glue needs air to dry. So you'll actually have a pocket of liquid glue in the middle literally forever. XPS foam, gonna texture it, gonna hit the entire thing with black paint and Mod Podge. This is just matte Mod Podge mix right here. Gonna hit the whole thing with that. That should give me a nice base, right? After that, I can hit it with texture paste, because my private photo free. How do I block you? Oh, looks like Google already did. All right. Okay. Well, it looks like that got spammed and then disappeared instantly, so that's good. Good job there, Facebook, or whatever the hell you are, YouTube. So yeah, so foam, hardboard on the back. These are going to be beveled. All the edges are going to be beveled, like at an angle, so that the guys can just walk up on it. So it's not like this hard big lip they have to move up, right? So they'll be able to like just run up the thing like that. And then using the 3D printed terrain from Darkfire Studios, right? On it as well. Now I have some little trees that are not here today. They get here tomorrow, which is really annoying. I have some little palm trees coming. We'll see how they look. If they look pretty good, I'll probably magnetize them. I think I can just plug a magnet right in the bottom. Take one of these big tenors. Take one of the big 10 magnets there. And glue it to the bottom of the tree, and then just stick a nail or something in the foam. And it should be pretty good. But we'll see. We'll see how she's gonna go. But yeah, so that's kind of my plan for my Scarab table. I'm planning on having it done by Christmas, and I will probably, as I get it done, definitely be posting photos on Instagram. And it's going to be XPS foam with hardboard on the bottom, coating the whole thing in Mod Podge, and then coating the whole thing in texture paint, and then little grasses, and top coating it, and it's going to be a whole thing. But I'm going to making there's a couple different ideas for terrain, right? The wall pieces, I'm going to make, there's like cut through pieces with just like trees and like the metal grating that we looked at from Darkfire. And then I want to make the little bar just because I think it'll be funny. And I think if I make like 6 to 8 pieces, it'll be more than enough for a whole table. The one problem with this is there's not a ton of elevation. There's going to be a little bit of elevation, but not like an absolute ton. Legion is an army game, so elevation is not as needed in that as it is in like a skirmish game, but still, more elevation the better. So that's my plan for it, for my little shore troopers, right? So, yeah. But that's about planning it, right? So, I have kind of an idea, right? You know, for what I want to do. Structuring it is probably the next important piece. So, I'm not going to start cutting the foam or anything like that until I get some of the 3D printed pieces done. Because I kind of want to structure the foam around them and not vice versa. Like, for example, I don't want to cut up a bunch of foam and then be like, all my foam pieces are too small for the barricades, right? That seems like a bad idea. So my goal now is to basically just like mass produce 3D printed stuff, right? And just chug through it, right? Make a whole bunch of like crates and turrets and walls and platforms and, you know, just chug and chug and chug and chug and chug through them. That's my plan right now. And then once I have that, I'll start making the base pieces. But yeah, that's pretty much my idea for it. Why I chose not to do a bunch of like 3D printed resin buildings, just because I think they'll actually be less interesting than something like this instead. Even though they're cool, right? It'd be cool to have a Tatooine table. I do think they are. They're less interactable, really, because like one guy doesn't really like, you know, hide or like go inside the buildings or whatever, right? In Legion, it's not really a thing that really happens. The idea of like having like gun lines and, you know, defensible pieces and stuff, I think is probably more interesting than having a bunch of buildings, you know. So yeah, so that's my thoughts on it. My goal is to have it done by Christmas. Maybe convince my husband to play a game with me. Fingers crossed on that. It probably won't happen, but I'm gonna try. But yeah, that's about it for my plans. I just kind of wanted to talk about it and sort of like walk through it, right? Because like in my brain, I've been kicking around like tons of ideas for this table, and actually like sitting and talking about it helps you like solidify those ideas a little bit, if that makes sense. So this is probably not a super interesting stream. I apologize for that. But it was actually a super useful stream for me. Because it helps me sort of like, you know, make all that slurry bullshit ideas that are in my brain. It helps me make those a reality, right? Just by talking about it and walking through it and stuff. That helps me a lot. So yeah. So, that's pretty much my Scarif table. My plan is for it. If I had done a Mustafar table, I'd probably be doing very similar things. I'd be finding 3D printed pieces to do. Lots of like heavy machinery and base type pieces probably. And then same thing, right? Like foam, board on the back, bevel it, you know, and these would just be little lava, like dried lava islands instead of being like sandy, beautiful beach, you know. That's what the big difference would be. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it. I apologize, this was probably not a mega interesting stream. But it was really useful for me just to talk through, like, what my ideas for doing terrain and stuff for this game were, right? I've been really enjoying doing stuff for Legion. You know, all my 3D printed boys here. You know, they're gonna go out and get cured today out in the sun. But I've been having a lot of fun, like going through Legion stuff. I think partly because it's a little less grimdark, you know. I'm just kind of not in the mood for the like super grimdark today. I think that's why I've been enjoying doing the Legion stuff instead. But. Yeah, I do have to figure out a way to play Legion by myself so I can play it on the channel. But we'll work on that. I think the cards are pretty straightforward. The only thing that wouldn't work is the initiative step. But we can figure it out, I think. I think I've got faith that I can do that. But, yeah, this thing is fucking cool. It's legitimately one of the coolest models I've built. It's just so fucking cool. Anyway. So, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call it there. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry the stream was not very interesting. But super useful for me, for helping me plan this table and get my ideas sort of like out of the goo that is my brain and into the reality that is reality. Yeah. Anyway. I'm going to call it there. I have to go drop off models to somebody in town. So I am off to other realms to go drop off some 3D printed models that I made for somebody. There's my ring. Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place today. I apologize. But thank you for watching while I talk about this bullshit and what I'm going to do for my Scarif table. I'm super excited for it. Really hyped to have it done by Christmas. That's my goal. Is to be able to have like a Christmas game, hopefully, on big Scarif table. This would be really cool. But I'm going to go ahead and call it there. Thank you guys for watching. I've said that like 5 times now. But for real this time.